Huh? I can do her. There's the sun over there. Look at that. Maybe we should go to the sun, dude. Activate navigation. And then below. Above 18.9. No, wait. What the fuck? Um, Above 18.9. Above 18.4. Do I need an extra fuel tank? Oh, it's so quiet. Above 18.4. Okay, I'm done with this. Above 18.4. So line it up. Where is it?
This is Mission Control Houston.
Where is it?
Looking at a view of the Earth, growing larger and larger in the field of view with each passing minute.
Fuck, I don't see it.
6 hours and 13 minutes from now, we will have passed the halfway point on the journey home from the moon for the Artemis astronauts.
Leave it alone. Okay, where is it?
Splashdown scheduled 1 day, 6 hours,
Right there.
14 minutes from now. At 7:07 p.m.
Was that it?
5:07 p.m. Pacific
Holy
time on
man.
Friday evening.
What crew report above fucking above 18,000. We can do it.
We're just a few minutes away from the daily planning conference between the flight control
Daily plan conference.
and the crew aboard.
Keep tipping. Keep tipping. Too fast.
And Jeremy Hansen. A quick tag up in which the flight control
I don't have enough fuel, I don't think. No, fuck away.
4 Integrity's astronauts in their final full day in space.
I think that was the other ship I used. Put another banger on it. 18,000. And one more can. Oh, I got those unlocked now anyway. Those are fucking way better. Hello? Wait, how much was that? This is 40. Huh? Okay, just 45, 55. So it's 2 of them. It's a double. And put one more little one on it. What's going on with this fucking thing anyway? That should be enough. And then we go. The music just shut off, did it? That's cool. Swivel. I don't think that's enough either. I have to go with one of these.
The day's activities for Integrity's astronauts will essentially include
No.
a study.
I can't remember how much I had on it.
Review their flight data file information about the remaining burns that are scheduled of the thrusters on the vehicle, to to fine-tune our trajectory for a splashdown in the Pacific on Friday night. The next burn that is scheduled is RTC-2, the return trajectory correction.
260 TWO.
Fine-tuning the path of integrity to meet the corridor that we desire for entry interface and the final transit across the Pacific Ocean from southwest to northeast that will take us to a splashdown point at 7:07 p.m. Central Time on Friday evening. That RTC-2 burn is scheduled at 9:53 p.m. Central Time this evening. It is scheduled to be an 8-second burn with a resulting change in velocity of 4.2 feet per second. On Friday afternoon, there'll be a critical burn called the RTC-3 burn. That is the final major maneuver of this mission. The RTC-3 burn scheduled at 1:53 p.m. Central Time on Friday afternoon. That will be about 4.5 hours before we separate the crew module from the service module and begin the critical activities that will result in entry interface at 6:53 p.m. Central Time on Friday night, reaching an altitude of 400,000 feet above the Pacific Ocean, and will be the true test of integrity as it barrels through the atmosphere with its peak speed expected to be about Mach 32. Temperatures around the vehicle will build to some 4,000 to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, creating a 6-minute blackout in communications due to the ionization around the vehicle, essentially a plasma field around the vehicle.
I'm just gonna burn right into it. What are we looking at? Oh fuck.
Chutes will be deployed. The key final chute deployment being the main chute deploy at 7:04 p.m. Central Time, and splashdown again scheduled at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 2.5 hours before sunset at the splashdown site, which will be 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time.
So, I keep turning. If I could turn it the right way, it'd be fucking great. I can't do it. Just going the wrong fucking way.
Focus of attention here in the Artemis Flight Control Room is on the home stretch of the mission for Integrity's astronauts. Down the hall in the International Space Station Flight Control Room, the work continues 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, non-stop, with a continuous human presence aboard the International Outpost, having exceeded 25 years this past November. The flight control team that's on console in the International Space Station Flight Control Room is beginning to turn its attention to the scheduled launch of a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station on Saturday morning at 6:41 a.m. Central Time, 7:41 a.m. Eastern Time, to place the Northrop Grumman Cygnus NG-24 cargo craft into orbit on a 2-day journey to reach the International Space Station and to deliver more than 3 tons of food, fuel, and supplies for the Expedition 74 crew aboard the orbital outpost. The launch of the christened SS Steve Nagel Cygnus cargo ship will result in a capture, a robotic capture, with NASA astronauts Jack Hathaway and Chris Williams at the controls of the Canadarm2 robotic arm. That robotic capture on Monday morning is scheduled at 11:50 a.m. Central Time, 12:50 p.m. Eastern Time. NASA Plus will provide coverage of the Falcon 9 launch of the Cygnus spacecraft for Northrop Grumman and the resulting capture of Cygnus and its installation. That will occur several hours later. The installation will be covered in a blog, but we will cover the rendezvous and capture in its terminal phase on Monday morning. Again, launch schedule on Saturday from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station at 6:41 a.m. Central Time, 7:41 a.m. Eastern Time.
Turned it too much. I don't know. I'm gonna get another one. I don't understand what the fuck this is. Just I don't understand. Why does it turn so much all of a sudden? Holy, I don't know. I just didn't know, whatever, man. I just quit. I just did 100 of these fucking things, and I can't do one. Fucking great. Yeah, I'm finished. I don't know what the fuck.
Good morning, Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. Welcome to Flight Day 9. I've got a few items for you related to entry tomorrow, and then a couple of other follow-up items for today. First of all, your entry package content is now on board in Crew Operations Entry Package. We are starting to activate and check out several systems that you'll need for entry. The first is the RCS cat beds are at temp. CM activation steps have started. And we will give you a call before we fire the pyro valves or perform the hot fire itself. How copy?
Okay, we copy all that, and we appreciate the heads up on the activation and the hot fire.
Yeah, we figured that may be of interest to you. Related to the prop systems, yesterday Reed reported some toggling signatures on the SM prop helium crossover valves, and we did confirm that is due to noise on those sensors, which are based on voltage. We do not have any concerns for those, and we are expecting you may see something similar on the CMRCS during activation today. good news items for entry. We had a good ammonia system checkout, as you heard this morning. Your coolant pumps are on Bravo side. For GNC, you've got 3 good barrows. They are now off OFF again. And you have 2 good GPS. We plan to keep those on. Finally, your recovery ship is on station in the Pacific, and there is no change to the weather forecast from yesterday.
Okay, Jackie, we copied all that. Sounds like you're really getting us ready for re-entry tomorrow. Also want to let you know that we happen to have a time lapse going out of window, I guess it was window 2 this morning, and we captured some of the ammonia venting, just for interest, if folks want to look for those photos later.
We copy. We'll take a look. On the system side for today, we've got a couple of items. First of all, right now we're having some trouble transferring files with PCD3. We'd like a reboot of PCD3 when convenient. Second of all, I have a stowage delta for your stowage prep this morning when someone is ready to copy.
Okay, I can copy that.
In Locker Delta, bag 8, the blue label, you should find a temp and humidity logger. We would like you to move that to the F1 small with the yellow label. If there's no room there, try the F1 large with brown label.
Okay, I copy that. We'd seen that earlier, and it's tiny. We'll be able to fit it where you want it.
Sounds great. We also had one other stowage question for you. We are wondering if you all happened to find any small items of joy in Alpha 2 or F4 small bag.
What was the second location again, Jackie?
Foxtrot 4 small. I'm told these may be items you would consume or wear.
Yeah, we were really pleasantly surprised to find some pretty cool socks. So that we found. However, we haven't found the thing we can consume yet. And I'm assuming that would have come out of F4, but we'll have to have another look.
We think that is in Alpha 2, unless Reed has drank all of them.
Okay. All right. Well, you piqued our interest. We'll get after it.
All right. Final item, we'll take an Avatar Lights report when you have it, and any other questions or items for us.
Okay, for Avatar, it's the same as yesterday. Just light 14 on the bottom row is not lit. Everything else is lit. And just to want to let you know, we did sign it and get the images as requested. We do have a question for you on toilet. I'll let you chew on it and let us know. But how many voids do you think we have between now and entry? And can we use them at our own discretion
How's it going?
between now and tomorrow? And a follow-on to that
He didn't even
is,
tell me I was going in that thing, man.
is to use some
What's up? Are
CPUs
you playing it or what?
prior to entry. So if you can accommodate that planning for us, we would appreciate it. We don't want to pack CCUs tonight.
missed it, dude.
Had another look at the fog on the window. What we were showing you from yesterday was window 2, not window 3, just to make sure that that's clear. And we can't get a perpendicular picture because of it's too far to the corner and the glasses just aren't parallel. Or the two panes are not parallel in that position. So we've kind of given you the best we can so far. If we get sun on the windows at some point today, it would be worth letting us know. We could try to take another picture because it shows up a lot better when it's sunlit. And we haven't seen that. That you asked for more pictures. In addition, the Z9 pixels have been cleaned up. That was a good tip. Thanks for doing that. And I'll read you some AGA numbers. We've got CO2 of 2.7, O2 is 22.0, temperature 74.8, and the pressure is 14.7. And our final request is we would like a private with the flight director, but it's not urgent. That's their convenience.
Okay, Jeremy, we copy all. For Avatar, that means you've got at least 36% state of charge, and it'll make its way all the way to the right hands on the ground with that level of battery. So thanks for that status, and we are working on the conference on OE2. We'll let you know when it's in place.
So now I gotta know when I get in it, man.
Okay, wonderful.
It didn't tell me before.
Thanks for the Orbit 1 team pictures. That's so great to see, and we're still waiting on Orbit 2.
Okay, watch it. Well, I can't look away. I gotta watch it intently.
And we're glad that Avatar is keeping our cells alive. We've been working hard to keep the cells in our bodies alive, and that little box is doing the same. So that's great stuff. All right. Well,
What's it called?
lots to do today.
What's it called? Bro, I gotta be in it already. Why is it not showing up? Bruh.
Integrity Houston, you've got a conference set up on OE2.
Well, let me hear it. Why he's hiding it?
This is Mission Control Houston. Here in the flight control room, spacecraft communicator Jackie Mahaffey has concluded the daily planning conference with the 4 crew members on board. You heard not only her voice, but that of Jeremy Hansen, the Canadian Space Agency astronaut, joined by Reed Wiseman, the commander, Victor Glover, the pilot, and mission specialist Christina Cook on board. The daily planning conference running down a series of activities.
Hold steady, man. Uh-oh, what the hell
With
happened?
the highlight, the start of the stowage of items aboard Integrity that will result in entry and splashdown off the coast of San Diego at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time on Friday night. Some of the highlights of that discussion included a reaffirmation by Mahaffey that the recovery ship for the crew, the USS John P. Bertha, is on station. It is expected to be about 5 miles away from the splashdown point that will help to expedite the recovery of the crew, extraction, the hoisting of the crew into a pair of Navy helicopters, and the return helo trip back to the deck of the Bertha, where they will go into medical bay, which is expected, routine procedures that we have trained and planned for. They'll receive routine medical exams before departing the ship at some point to return to shore and back to the Johnson Space Center in Houston. checkout of the Global Positioning System satellite hardware on board Integrity, so it understands its position relative to the Earth. All of that equipment is functioning perfectly, along with barrows, as you heard referenced. Those are barometric pressure sensors that ultimately will test and provide the onboard computers the information it needs to understand.
Why do you keep? I gotta fix. I don't know what the hell is going on there. I don't have any ships out in the world. Fuck. Why are you spamming me that?
Such as the deployment of the series of parachutes. First, the chutes that will pull the forward bay cover off the top of the vehicle. Then drogue chutes, and following that, the main chutes, the three main parachutes that will slow Integrity from an initial velocity of some 32 times the speed of sound at the point of entry interface to just 19 miles an hour at splashdown.
Oh boy.
Over a 14-minute period from the time that the vehicle and the astronauts reach the first traces of Earth's atmosphere.
I just did that, dude.
Is just 14 minutes in duration.
48,000. Huh?
Weather forecast at the splashdown site is go.
What the fuck?
Winds are expected to be around 10 knots, wave heights less than 4 feet, and the periodics for the waves rising and falling at about 17 seconds. This is ideal weather for the recovery.
Oh, I don't think I can do that one. Forget it. This one?
In good shape. In about an hour at 2:30 p.m. Central Time,
That's
3:30
pretty
p.m.
easy, really.
We will be moving into our mission status briefing for the day, so we invite you to tune in for that.
So I gotta get 8,000 and 110.
Be provided with more details
What's
about
this?
entry milestones later in the day from the flight control team here in Houston. The final public affairs event is scheduled at 6:50 p.m. Central Time this evening. And then about 3 hours later, at 9:53 p.m. Central Time, is the next critical burn, the return trajectory correction number 2 burn, that will further fine-tune Integrity's path.
Oh, you just gotta trigger it. The Flea Solid Rocket Booster. Yeah, you don't even gotta use it. I can do it.
The RTC-2 burn this evening at 9:53 p.m. Central will be about an 8-second burn of the reaction control system thrusters.
Solid Fuel Booster. Do I have that?
4.2 feet per second.
Yeah, I got it. I can do it. So what do we have to do? The Flea, where is it? 43,700. 700. $700. How the fuck am I gonna do 700?
Hey Christina, we're going to start working with the CMRCS, and in particular we're about to arm the pyro valves, and we're interested in if you all see the same toggling signature that you saw with the service module propulsion system. So if you could pull up CMRCS and keep an eye on that display, we will then arm the pyro.
I'm with you on CMRCS. Got my eyes on the pyro A and B valves, and they're already, I'm seeing the behavior of them toggling in between safe and armed already.
We copy all, and we'll put our actions in work.
Yeah, okay, it is what it is, huh? I don't give a shit. Put them down right around there. That's good. A little bit less than that, maybe, I don't know. I don't want no there. Keep full thrust on them. I'll keep 50. Ah, fuck. Man. So I have to get the fucking 43,000. I have to get to 43,700.
Jackie, we see armed and it's just steady.
I'm just gonna fucking blast off.
Houston copies. Thanks.
Yeah, that's fine. I got rid of them. Then head her back. So you just tank them. Gotta get to 40,000.
We've been enjoying the view from solar array wing cameras on Integrity. Great view of the Earth as it grows larger and larger in the field of view. Statistically, this visualization.
Go ahead.
Hey Jackie, is that the only commanding you were gonna do at this time? And you'll call us back in when you actually activate?
Yeah, sorry, it was just long enough of an awkward pause, but we are getting very close to actually opening those, and we think you'd be interested in that as well.
What am I looking for? 40,
Absolutely.
43,000. So I gotta
So to let you know, we found
give it another
our
snap on
little
it.
present. We are very excited and we are having happy coffee shop time up here right now.
Uh-oh. Okay, 43, and then
Excellent.
snap
We'll
it.
have some down here to celebrate with you.
Oh, it was so close.
Cheers to that.
Christina Cook acknowledging what was referred to in the daily planning conference.
I had
as
700.
a present stowed away in one of the lockers on Integrity. Obviously, some special coffee to enjoy. Now back to this visualization. This is a three-dimensional view driven by real-time telemetry.
Integrity Houston, Christina, we are about to send the string 2 pyro valve, and we definitely want to know what you see and hear.
I didn't even put fucking wings on it. Fucking idiot. How'd it fly so good?
again, that visualization that we saw a moment ago showing the distance from the Earth and the distance from the Moon. We're almost at that
That's
halfway point.
whatever.
You can see at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. We'll reach the halfway point on the journey home 5.5 hours from now.
I'm just going straight the fuck up.
In the meantime, we're doing a quick test of pressurization in the prop system, gathering data on this test flight of Orion, the flyby of the Moon, having been accomplished.
Jackie, let me know when it's a good time to give you our commentary.
Stand by.
Cook is ready to provide a characterization of what she's hearing as the pyro valves are open for the pressurization system.
Let's see where that goes. I don't know, man.
Again, this is a data gathering exercise.
Christina, we're ready for your words.
Okay, we do see Pyro B Bravo sent, and at the time that changed, we heard a loud
30.
knock, like a metallic knock, like a wrench
43.
on the side of the vehicle, very quick. And then a few seconds later, we heard a light knock.
I'm gonna have to pop it.
On the outside. I'm not sure what that might have been associated with.
I pop it and then pop those. Once I get to 700, then it's good.
Wrench, then knuckle.
Cut these.
That first noise was the pyro.
Cut.
From our telemetry on the ground, that looked like a nominal string
Nope.
2 pyro valve open.
I blew right by it, didn't I? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And Christina Cook characterizing for the flight control team here what she heard during the opening of the pyro valves for the propellant.
I blew right fucking by it.
Christina, it'll be a good 5 to 10 minutes before we're ready for string 1, so we'll give you a call back.
Copy.
The system is working fine. This noise characterization test is a data gathering exercise, part of this flight test of the Orion vehicle, gathering data for future missions, in which all of the various systems will be exercised for longer periods of time during those respective flights that are in the future.
Holy shit, look at how fast I'm going.
Integrity is flying in great shape. No issues being worked by the flight control team here in mission control
Whoa, what the
in the
fuck?
Artemis flight control room. In fact, it has been very quiet since the entry team came on console several hours ago. The same team will be on console tomorrow morning to guide Integrity and its
I
astronauts
gotta go
back to Earth
700 here.
to wrap up this mission,
This is tricky.
in which humans
Docking camera is removed and stowed for entry.
Houston copies.
Victor Glover reporting that he has stowed the docking camera. This is a camera that was installed in the vehicle, in the cabin, that assisted during the proximity operations
Dude,
flying
it was 7.
of Integrity several hours after launch back on April 1st to test its handling characteristics as it approached, then backed away, and then reapproached, and then backed away a second time from the Infinite Cryogenic Propulsion Stage, the ICPS. That was the upper stage of the vehicle that enabled integrity to reach its preliminary orbit around the Earth. The free return trajectory that was crafted for this mission specifically to provide lots of time, more than 24 hours of time, for the characterization and validation of the critical systems aboard Integrity, including life support systems. All of that trajectory worked to perfection, sending Integrity to initial elliptical orbit that reached an apogee of about 43,000 miles after launch, when it swung back around toward the Earth. The translunar injection burn occurred on April 2nd, enabling humans to break out of low Earth orbit for the first time since Apollo 17.
Fuck.
The translunar injection burn also served the dual purpose of being, in essence, a deorbit burn. Whereas we think of a normal deorbit burn for an Earth orbiting vehicle as the function of a braking rocket, slowing the velocity of an orbiting spacecraft down long enough so that Earth's gravity can capture the vehicle and bring it back into the atmosphere. The trajectory that was deliberately designed for this test flight sent Integrity on a free return trajectory where it looped around the moon, exceeding the distance record set by Apollo 13 in 1970, making this quartet of astronauts the humans who have traveled further away from Earth than any other humans in history. The loop around the far side of the moon, and now the return trip to Earth that you see growing larger in the field of view, to culminate in a high-speed entry back to Earth and a parachute-assisted splashdown in the Pacific, southwest of San Diego, on Friday evening at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time.
Houston Integrity for 2 questions, 1 stowage, 1 PCD.
Houston's here for 2 answers.
First, it's just a request from me individually, but if there's a chance for a quick email sync between now and lunch, that'd be awesome, just to get a couple things in our outbox, help the families. But obviously, getting ready for entry is the highest priority. And then second, for Stow Track, we can open the program and we see our 4 names, but we do not see a vehicle. So we just have the select option, but no vehicle listed, and we cannot move on.
Reed, we copy both. Stand by for answers.
Thank you.
That it? I gotta test them, man. I gotta test them up in the atmosphere. You gotta turn them on up there. It's kind of annoying, really.
Integrity Houston, Reed back with you.
How am I gonna get 700
Copied your issue.
at
That is
40?
unfortunate, and we don't have
I'm just gonna rip right by it, dude.
but we can offer
Fuck.
you a backup.
So hard.
It is PVE procedure
I'll get to 700 here.
26.300.
No, I got too much fuel now. I'm carrying too much fuel. Okay, 700. Now we need 43. And I gotta magically hit a button in the middle of all this shit. Somehow. I'm gonna pour it on in a minute. Okay, we're at 38. Gotta get to 700. Now we can hit these. I got it. Haha. Sucker. Where am I going?
Reed, thanks for checking on the HHP cam.
Into
Right
space.
now we're doing a little bandwidth trading, including between the email and the camera. Let's leave the camera off for the moment.
One whoop-de-doo. Can't see shit.
And Integrity Houston, when you are ready, we are ready to fire the string 1 prop ISO valve.
Hmm? Where's this going?
And Jackie, we will be ready in about 30 seconds.
Copy, we'll count to 30 and give it a shot.
Nothing out here, is there? Oh, there's more out here, dude. Look at this big shift. Oh man, this is good stuff here. Wonder how do I unlock the retro? I'd have to level them up. Why is it so hard to level up the Kerbal? I hate level 80 it up. Yeah, it'll be fucking dark forever. I don't know why you keep showing me that, dude. It's so annoying. I'm not even far away. What the fuck?
This is Mission Control Houston. 7 days, 20 hours, 13 minutes into the flight of Integrity on the Artemis 2 mission, the
So
historic
now we have to go to
that is in the home stretch as we see the crew beginning to work all the procedures of the day before entry.
I've done that.
As they start to stow the cabin, review
Stow the
entry
cabin.
procedures,
I've $500,000.
discuss with the flight director, Rick Henfling, here in Mission
Kerbal
Control.
money.
Receive final, what they call mail syncs, basically uplink of mail from their families.
Mail sinks.
And gearing up for their high-speed entry back to Earth in a
Fuck, I don't know what to
Kerbal,
get,
San
man.
Diego.
More
2.5 hours
science
before
shit,
sunset
though.
out on the Pacific on Friday
Storage
night.
container. More science. What the hell is it all? Advanced. Precision. Holy fuck, I don't even know what any of this is.
Integrity Houston for CM
Container module.
String 1 activation. And
Processing
any
lab.
feedback from you.
Command module.
Awesome. Jackie, we see the same. Happy to hear it. And it was a similar signature, except I think we heard even a little bit more, the same 2 clicks. This time we also heard a little bit of a flow, like pressurizing, and we associated the second knock with the reg probably closing. It was right when we got to pressure.
Christina, that makes perfect sense. Thank you for all of that feedback. And for Reed, if he can go hands-off email, we are going to do that sync now. And I think everyone wanted that, so if everyone's hands-off email, we'll do the sync for everyone.
Copy and thank you.
The propulsion officer
Yeah.
Mission Control is all smiles with this characterization of the second of the 2 strings of the
Oh, it's easy, the thud.
propulsion
Do I have the
pressurization system.
thud
Again,
liquid
gathering
fuel
data on
engine?
this test
With
flight
the thud
on the behavior of that
liquid
pressurization
fuel
system
engine.
that enables these systems to be properly pressurized for upcoming thruster maneuvers. Everything going swimmingly aboard Integrity, no issues being reported. The crew in the early portions of their workday preparing to begin stowing their crew cabin before they move into the heart of
The
all
thud.
their entry activities later today.
Well, how much is it?
and, through the bulk of the
45.
tomorrow after they wake up.
That's a waste, man.
A reminder, we're about
I want
40
science
minutes out
shit.
from our mission status briefing for the day.
Fucking give a fuck about
in
a
which
thud.
managers will discuss the status of the flight, entry preparations, and to take questions from reporters both here at the Johnson
Oh,
Space
man.
Center and on our phone bridge. The mission status briefing scheduled for today at 2:30 p.m. Central Time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. One other reminder this evening, the RTC-2 burn is scheduled. That is the second in the series of 3
One.
return
What a
trajectory
fucking
corrections.
shaft, man.
These are
Juno
fine-tuning
basic jet
maneuvers
engine. No.
to basically sweeten the path of Integrity to reach the center line, if you will, of the
I don't know what that
tomorrow
is.
that will put Integrity on a glide path that will carry it to a precise touchdown, hopefully within just a few miles of the recovery ship, the John P. Murtha, which has basically placed itself on station, reporting good weather and the forecast calling for
How do you
winds
attach the thing?
around 10 knots and
There we
waves
go. How's that?
at about 4 feet. Ideal conditions, almost pristine conditions.
This is
for the
awesome.
homecoming of Reed
Look
Wiseman,
at this fucking
Victor
thing.
Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen.
How do you get How do you get the fuel for it? That was not worth it at all. I don't think I have it. No, I don't have it.
Houston, CFC still complete. We did not have the shipping bubble wrap, so it is gently placed in A3 on top of the docking camera. Should be fine.
Houston copies, and Reed, we have one optional stow track troubleshooting to offer you if you would like it.
We'll go one more time.
Alright, it's going to involve typing a few more letters after the
Holy
URL
shit.
in the browser.
Why do I have to
Let
go
me
to
know when you're ready.
170,000, man?
So you want me to first open stow track, or do you want me to go to a browser?
Holy shit.
You can open stow track and then go as if to edit the URL at the top of that browser, and these words I'll give you are at the end of the last backslash.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright, after that backslash, you will type reload data dot Alpha Sierra Papa X-ray.
Okay, I'll try.
The hell's all this?
When you hit enter, you might get an error page. If that happens, hit the browser back one time.
I did get the error, hit the browser back, and I do not have a vehicle.
Okay, we copy. Thanks for giving it a try.
And just to be 100% clear, they are not backslashes.
What's MET mean?
Post forward slashes.
Meant to, what? Oh.
Copy. We don't
What do I
expect,
upgrade?
we
Research
did
science
this in,
limit
our troubleshooting.
100. I don't know what that means.
Spacecraft communicator Jackie Mahaffey in that exchange with Commander Reed Wiseman, trying to troubleshoot the opening of a browser in which the crew keeps track of items that are being stowed for entry.
So they can place flags.
Issue whatsoever
But I don't
in
understand
regard to the mission.
how I
or the
upgrade
entry
this
of the
stupid
vehicle.
idiot.
Tomorrow, it's simply a bookkeeping issue. So we press ahead with the Earth in the field of view from a solar array wing camera, just over 5 hours away from reaching the halfway point.
Resource
on the return
transfer
trip from the
available.
moon that will result in splashdown 1 day, 5 hours, 8 minutes, and 47 seconds from now. Before we get too close to our mission status briefing coming up at the bottom of the hour at 2:30 p.m. Central, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, we can review some of the entry day highlights for you. On Friday, the crew will be awakened at 10:35 a.m. Central Time. All the times I'm about to give you are Central Time. Crew will be awakened at 10:35 a.m. A couple of hours later, just before 1 p.m. Central Time, they'll begin configuring the cabin for entry. One final major burn, that's the RTC-3 burn, the return trajectory correction number 3 burn, is scheduled at 1:53 p.m. Central Time. That is a final fine-tuning maneuver to further precisely point integrity in the right direction down the entry corridor for its splashdown. It also will prime the vehicle in advance of what I'm going to tell you in a minute is the crew module raise burn, which is an orientation maneuver, but we'll get to that in just a second. The RTC-3 burn is scheduled on Friday at 1:53 p.m. Central Time. The crew will begin to move into its entry checklist at 4:05 p.m. Central Time. This is where the heart of the matter begins. Our NASA Plus coverage that will be SIMO to our continuing 24/7 YouTube coverage. Our NASA Plus coverage for an even wider audience than we have been broadcasting for over the past few days. That begins at 5:30 p.m. Central Time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The next milestone will be the communications handover between the Deep Space Network and the Tracking and Data Relay Satellite System at 6:15 p.m. Central Time, 7:15 p.m. Eastern. 18 minutes later at 6:33 p.m., the command will be given to separate integrity from the European service module that has served this mission so well to this point. And integrity will be flying on its own. 4 minutes later at 6:37 p.m. Central Time, we're expecting a raise burn, as it is called. This is a slight adjustment in the angle of attack of integrity, essentially lifting the aft end of the vehicle up, nudging it up in an 18-second maneuver that will further fine-tune its trajectory back into the Earth's atmosphere. This angle of attack is important because this will set the stage for how much heating on the heat shield is induced as we barrel through the Earth's atmosphere. That whole process of entry interface, plowing into the Earth's atmosphere, will begin at 6:53 and 30 seconds p.m. Central Time at an altitude of 400,000 feet, traveling 34,882 feet per second. Seconds after we enter the Earth's atmosphere, we expect a communications blackout of about 6 minutes in duration. This is due to the ionization around the heat shield and the vehicle as temperatures increase to about 4,000 to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This is expected. It is planned for. It is no different than you've been hearing in the past during a Soyuz entry to a landing in Kazakhstan under parachutes, or the entry of a Dragon vehicle during a SpaceX commercial crew mission. There's always going to be a communications blackout. In this case, because of the velocity in which we're entering the Earth's atmosphere, the heat buildup will linger for a longer period of time. This case, about 6 minutes in duration. We should reach that peak heating point at about 6:54 p.m. Central Time, at which point we will induce 2 role reversals, computer commanded, on the vehicle. First rolling to the left, then back again to the right. This gentle swaying back and forth will dissipate energy on the spacecraft, basically reduce its velocity through the reduction of inertia. We'll come out of the blackout if everything goes as planned, just a few seconds before 7 p.m. Central Time, and at that point we're just 7 minutes away from splashdown. We should reach an altitude of 50,000 feet at 7:02 and 37 seconds p.m. Central Time. And less than a minute later, we'll begin the critical deployment of a series of parachutes. First, the forward bay cover chutes will pull the top cover, if you will, or the forward bay cover of Integrity away from the rest of the vehicle. That will be followed just seconds later by the deployment of drogue chutes, and then finally the deployment of main chutes, the 3 main parachutes, at 7:04 and 44 seconds p.m. Central Time. With the mains out, we will monitor the rate of descent with splashdown scheduled right now at 7:07 and 6 seconds p.m. Central Time, 5:07 and 6 seconds p.m. Pacific Time. Now that exact splashdown time will vary, and we will provide that for you when we see the chutes begin to unfurl following splashdown in the Pacific. Whether or not the spacecraft is upright in what's called a Stable 1 configuration or upside down in Stable 2, the 5 CMUS bags, CMUS is the acronym for Crew Module Uprighting System. These are 5 airbags basically at the top of the vehicle that will inflate through helium to upright the vehicle into its nominal orientation upright, the top of the vehicle pointed skyward. You will hear a difference in communications from the crew to what is called a very low data rate of VLDR. You'll hear the call out from the Capcom Jackie Mahaffey here in Mission Control. The change is because we no longer will be on the TDRS system, rather on S-band communications. The crew also has available to it a SARSAT communications capability to the recovery forces on the USS John P. Murtha, and the Navy helicopters and the fast boats that will be approaching the spacecraft to begin the process of ensuring that the vehicle is safe and free from toxic gases before erecting a raft called the front porch along the side of the vehicle that will be the precursor to the opening of the hatch and the extraction of the vehicle. The control of this flight by the flight control team here in Houston is not complete with the handover to the Exploration Ground Systems folks who are working in concert with the Navy. That handover is not complete until the crew has been extracted and is in the raft waiting to be harnessed to be hoisted aboard a pair of Navy helicopters that will take the crew back to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha. So there's a snapshot for you of the major highlights for entry coming up on Friday evening. To put it into perspective, when we reach the first traces of the Earth's atmosphere at 400,000 feet, traveling some 30 times the speed of sound, it will be just 14 minutes until splashdown at a rate of just 19 miles an hour. The deceleration rather dramatic, but it should be imperceptible to the crew. The crew is expected to pull no more than about 3.9 Gs during peak velocity during its entry back to Earth for its splashdown in the Pacific. And just a reminder, our mission status briefing coming up at the bottom of the hour at 2:30 p.m. Central, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
phone and work. Integrity Houston, hot fire complete. We are assessing the data.
Sounds great. And just per the training, we still see the temps coming up, and everything looks extremely clean on board.
Houston copies.
This is Mission Control Houston, another check mark heading toward entry on the list of things to be accomplished, that being a quick hot fire of the crew module thrusters. This designed just to ensure that the thrusters are in ship-shape form prior to the point at which they will be used for the remainder of the mission. The propulsion system in good shape. The propulsion officer here in Mission Control happy with what he's seeing. Once again, the report from the propulsion. We had a good hot fire of the crew module thrusters. That sets us up in good shape for tomorrow.
Integrity Houston, we can confirm a good CM RCS hot fire.
Outstanding. Step by step. Appreciate it.
We gotcha.
This is Mission Control Houston. 7 days, 20 hours, 45 minutes into the flight of Integrity on the lunar flyby mission of Artemis 2. The repositioning of one of the solar array wings on Integrity, giving us a view of the Earth as it grows larger in the field of view. We're about 4 hours and 45 minutes away from reaching the halfway point of the journey home for Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialists Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen, following their fly around of the moon that occurred back a couple of days ago. One of the highlights of this mission in this test flight of Orion's spacecraft that will culminate with the splashdown of the astronauts and Integrity in the Pacific southwest of San Diego on Friday night at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time, just 2.5 hours before sunset. The crew is well into its ninth flight day. This is a day that is largely devoted to the stowage of items in the crew cabin, reviewing their flight data file for entry procedures and timelines. They will be witness to another critical burn later this evening, the return trajectory correction burn number 2, that will further fine-tune Integrity's path to reach a corridor over the Pacific Ocean in which they will split the uprights to move across the Pacific into the Earth's atmosphere, descending at a rate of speed that will reach about 32 times the speed of sound for a parachute-assisted splashdown to bring this mission to an end. More details from today's mission management team meeting and status on the flight are coming your way in just about 7.5 minutes at the bottom of the hour at 2:30 p.m. Central, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time with our daily mission status briefing.
mission of the Orion space capsule.
Artemis 2 will be the first time we put humans on this rocket.
We're going back to the moon because it's the next step in our journey to Mars.
We were always going to the moon.
Pushing ourselves to explore is just core to who we are. It's a part of being a human.
And liftoff. We shall return.
Continuing to test out every bit of Orion.
Coming back to Earth, 7 miles a second.
When humanity sets big goals, we can bring together genius from around the world.
You have the best people on planet Earth putting this vehicle together.
That's what's up. To innovate for the benefit of humanity and to inspire the world through discovery.
And here we go.
Good afternoon and welcome to NASA's Johnson Space Center for our final mission status briefing ahead of Artemis 2 splashdown tomorrow evening. We are joined by a panel of specialists today. Joining us is NASA Associate Administrator Amit Shathria, Artemis 2 Flight Director Jeff Radigan, and Artemis 2 Orion Vehicle Manager Breniel Rodriguez. We are going to be taking questions from media here in the room and through our phone bridge today, but before we get started, we will kick it off with some opening remarks. Amit, go ahead.
Good afternoon. Tomorrow evening, Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, the crew of Artemis 2, will come home. They will have traveled 400,000 miles. They will have seen what no living person has seen. They will have tested every system on the spacecraft and the environment it was built for, and they will have given us 10 days of data that will shape every mission that comes after. The test is not complete. Tomorrow, the Orion spacecraft will enter the Earth's atmosphere at approximately 25,000 miles per hour. That heat shield, the thermal protection system, which is built by American hands and American factories for materials designed to withstand temperatures that approach the surface of the sun, will bear the full force of that reentry. Every system we've demonstrated over the past 9 days, life support, navigation, propulsion, communications, all of it depends on the final minutes of flight. We have high confidence in the system and the heat shield and the parachutes and the recovery systems we put together. The engineering supports it. The Artemis 1 flight data supports it. All of our ground test supports it. Our analysis supports it. And tomorrow the crew is going to put their lives behind that confidence. Until then, the flight control team, the engineering team, the recovery forces in the Pacific, to every engineer, every technician that's touched this machine, tomorrow belongs to you. The crew has done their part. Now we have to do ours. With that, I'll turn it over to Jeff.
Thanks, Amit. I will mention that the crew's had a great time in space, and they've really enjoyed doing all of the checkouts that they've done. Of course, the lunar flyby was quite a day. But now we absolutely turn towards entry. And so Rick Henfling and the entry team are on console today, getting ready, doing all of the pre-entry checks, and ensuring that the cockpit is configured for entry, which will, of course, occur tomorrow. I do have a few times for you as the capsule comes in. Of course, we'll hand back from the DSN network to the TDRS network at 6:15 local Central Time. And then the crew module and the service module is going to separate around 6:33. We would do a crew module raise burn to take the crew module slightly away from the service module as it comes down. And then we'll enter blackout at 6:53 local Central Time. About 10 minutes later, the drogue chutes will deploy at 7:03, and then the main chutes will be right behind them a minute later, 7:04, and we'll see those three main parachutes come out, leading down to splashdown at 7:07, and looking forward to a great day tomorrow. And with that, I'll hand it over to Braniel.
Thank you, Jeff. So the spacecraft team and the Orion team, we've been doing an assessment over the last few days with an integrated team from flight operations and all of our subject matter experts here within Orion. And we've reviewed all the systems, we've reviewed all the reentry procedures and activities, and we are good to go. And so the team's done an excellent job walking through those, ensuring that those systems on board Orion and on the ground are ready to support. Orion remains healthy. It's been working fantastic. And Debbie showed you some images yesterday of our TPS system, our thermal protection system, and we completed those assessments and everything looks really, really well to continue on. So we're ready to go inside the vehicle. The spacecraft systems, it's a nice 75 degrees, so so kind of like a winter day in Houston, and it's crew's loving it. So everything is looking really well from the vehicle standpoint. Thank you.
All right, we'll start with questions here in the room. Please raise your hand if you have a question. Eric.
Eric Berger, Ars Technica. Thanks for doing this. Question for either Amit or Jeff, I think. Back a little more than a decade ago, the Curiosity mission had its 7 minutes of terror. And I'm not trying to imply anything, but I want to get a sense of the 13 minutes of entry from entry interface to splashdown, of how we should be thinking about it. That's the 13 minutes of what?
I mean, I'm going to tell you, it's 13 minutes of things that have to go right, is the way I think about it. I have a whole checklist in my head that we're going through of all the things that have to happen. The forward bay cover has to come off, the drogues have to come out, the main chutes have to deploy, the reefing systems have to cut, and we have to get touchdown angle alignment correct, and then hit the water correctly. And even prior to that, right, we've got the CMSM SEP separation between the service module and the crew module. That has to go right, and then you have the heat shield that has to work. So it's not so much 13 minutes, it's more in my head about an hour and a half of things that have to go right, and that's the way I think of them.
Okay, we'll take another question here in the room. Jackie, go ahead.
Hi there. Question I think for Jeff. I just wanted to check in. Yesterday it seemed like the schedule moved around quite a bit as they were troubleshooting. I think it was a oxygen tank pressurization issue in the service module. Can you walk us through what that issue is, how long it's been a concern, and whether or not it's a big factor here that's outstanding? Thank you.
Sure. So it's actually not an oxygen tank issue. It's oxidizer. It's in the propulsion system, not in the breathable atmosphere system. And so it's one of our two-part propulsion system, which allows us to burn in space. We are seeing what is a small leak in our pressurant system. The leak is not to space; it's internal to the system, across some of our valves, and we really need to characterize that to see what, if any, modifications we might need to make in the future. And so we had some time in the timeline dedicated to some other activities, right? Having the crew pilot the vehicle again, and it made more sense for us to go ensure that we fully understood the characterization of the service module and the pressurization system, because we don't get the service module back, right? It's something that we jettison. So we all thought, right? Flight control team, working in conjunction with our mission management team, and of course our engineering teams, made the decision to go spend more time to characterize that situation, because it was more important, and we'd already gotten the data out of the manual piloting demos that we previously had. So that's why we changed the timeline and ensured we could really characterize the vehicle.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Marcia. Go ahead.
Associated Press for you, Alan. I know all the data and all the analyses points the way for a safe splashdown tomorrow, but still human emotion must be at play. How tense, stressed are you? So much is riding on this mission. All eyes will be, so focused on all this tomorrow around the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no question that we'll be anxious, and but we'll be with the families. We'll be with them. We'll all be together. I have full confidence in the team. They do too. That we've been with them the whole time, and so we've done the work. It's impossible to say you don't have irrational fears left, right? But I would tell you I don't have any rational fears about what's going to happen. We've done the work we need to, and we have full confidence in the team, the recovery team, the flight control team, the analysis of the work we did. Some of them, yeah.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Irene.
Irene Pauls with Aviation Week, probably for Amit. At this point in the mission, how many in-flight anomalies have been are pending for action after splashdown? And compared to the list of objectives that you laid out for this whole mission, and realize you still have this very major part of it ahead, but how satisfied are you with that the mission objectives have been accomplished?
Well, Brittany will talk about the details, but I'll tell you the team has extracted every ounce of test data we can out of. I'm very pleased with the coordination, the way that we've added objectives in flight, and the way we prioritize, like Jeff said, on cases where we need actual forensic data on the hardware we're getting back versus not. So we prioritize that the right way. But Brynjol, you want to talk through that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. As far as the things that we've learned, right, it is a test flight, and so we are learning things on the spacecraft, and I think we've talked several of them in these press conferences as we have, but we gather those data, as Jeff noted. We take characterization tests of systems that we won't get back home, and when we get back home and the vehicle comes back, we'll do a lot of post-processing of all that data.
Okay, we'll take one more question here in the room, then head to the phone bridge. Go ahead.
Hi, TJ Mascaro with the Epoch Times. Thanks so much, and congratulations on the mission so far. Question for Jeff. Can you walk us through how this reentry procedure differs from that of Apollo?
Let's see. In terms of, it actually doesn't differ all that much in terms of just how fast we're coming back, and how much has to go right. Of course, there are some minor timeline differences. The parachute systems are different between the two vehicles, but big picture coming back from the moon is all really close to the same thing. You don't have the long coasting arcs that you have in low Earth orbit. You're really coming straight down and coming and hitting the atmosphere a whole lot faster, but that means you go through it a whole lot faster too. And so, I'd say it parallels Apollo much more than it does some of our low Earth orbit returns, and that's really what we're looking forward to. They're coming home pretty fast.
We'll take our next question on the phone bridge from Ken Chang with the New York Times.
Hi, thank you. I guess I'm following up on the previous question. So with the lofted orbit, it comes up a bit, and Apollo had direct re-entry, and Artemis 1 had skip entry. So I guess it seems like it could be somewhere in the middle. If you can just give a few more details. Thank you.
Yeah, Ken, so we are still doing a skip entry where we've shortened the duration of the skip because of the limited use disposition of this particular heat shield. We know that it can tolerate X amount of dwell time during the lofted period, which is why we're shortening the duration. To follow up a little bit on the previous question too, one of the reasons we were willing to do that is because we figured we could control the entry weather, or not control, but deal with entry weather in terms of the down track. And so the duration of the heat load, heat rate, as well as the actual down track is shorter, because that's the part of the environment that we decided to control at this particular instance of the heat shield. For future heat shields, we'll have a much longer skip capability.
Our next question is from Noah Haggerty with the Los Angeles Times.
Hi, thanks. I'm wondering if there's any chance folks in San Diego along the coast will be able to see reentry, and what the exclusion zones and enforcement will look like out in the ocean for anyone that hopes to travel via boat to watch reentry and splashdown.
Let's see. So the path that we're coming in, I don't expect it to be visible from the folks in California. And as far as the exclusion zone, we're pretty far off the coast. And of course, we're working conjunction with the Department of War to recover the capsule out there. And it is a fairly large exclusion zone. So I would caution folks, please avoid the area. There's a lot of debris that comes down, and we work with our recovery forces in order to ensure that it doesn't hit them. But of course, we don't want it to hit anyone else. We are still targeting to come down at our primary landing site, and we have the weather alternates available. But it's further off the coast than, again, some of your the LEO or the orbits that you've seen.
We'll take our next question from Nell with NPR.
Hey, thanks so much for doing this. I'm still trying to understand the oxygen pressurization issue. You mentioned something about it was with the propellant system. I'm wondering, does this have anything to do with anything that might be involved in re-entry? I mean, I understand you're assessing it because you're going to lose that part of the spacecraft and it won't be returned, but is there anything related to that that's at all of concern related to re-entry? Thank you.
I appreciate your question, and just to clarify again, right, this is actually in the helium pressurization system of the oxidizer, which of course our service module propulsion system works on fuel and oxidizer and combining those together to provide thrust. In in terms of affecting reentry, it will not. We still have capability in the spacecraft and are operating in a case where all of our burns have performed nominally. They've done exactly what we've expected to. Of course, we performed return trajectory correction burn 1 a couple days ago, and it went just fine. We hit our targets, and we're actually seeing that our targets are very close to what we predicted, so our correction burns don't need to be as much as we had protected for, which is a good thing to note. We're doing another trajectory correction tonight, and then there'll be the final one tomorrow before entry. All of those are done actually without the pressurization system that we're characterizing. We're operating in a case where we're in blowdown, which means that we already have full pressure in the prop tanks to be able to perform these burns. Even if we had, a 3 sigma dispersion, we still have plenty of prop pressurization to do the burns. So we don't see any impact to entry at this time. And of course, we will, jettison the service module, and that's where the system is. And of course, the crew module jets that we'll use actually on reentry are unaffected at this time.
There's multiple layers and redundancy in our propulsion system, and so really the test yesterday was to help us characterize that information since we don't receive the service module back home. But we have reviewed that as a technical team. We have validated all of that in our labs, and we have very much confidence in the system.
We'll take another question on the phone and then head back into the room. Our next question is from Micah Maidenberg with the Wall Street Journal.
Thanks. Amit, you spent a lot of time over the last 2 or 2.5 years working on the heat shield and the reentry plan that will be rolling out tomorrow. I'm curious if you ever went through this effort and the new trajectory directly with the crew's families, and did you feel like that session, if it happened, was able to resolve any worries they might have had? Did anybody else outside of the crew themselves from NASA sort of talk through the mitigation for tomorrow? Thanks so much.
Yeah, we haven't gone into deep technical detail. At least I have not with the families directly. I know that I will tell you though that from day one, since I started in the program, and then was right before they named this crew, we have been talking to the crew about this problem the whole time, and they've been with us in the investigation. They've been with us on the production improvements that were made, all the changes to entry procedures. So they were not just doing what we were telling them to do. They co-created this solution with us. So they've been lashed up. I imagine they've discussed with their loved ones what the risks are. They've talked about that through all phases of flight, through entry, through ascent, every single piece of it. So I know that they're well prepared. And I would tell you though that it's not said a lot, but the courage that the families show during these missions is as great as or equal to what the crew shows when they go fly. And so we all have to admire them for that.
We'll take our next question in the room. Go ahead.
Thanks. Joey Roulette with Reuters. Question for Amit or whoever wants to answer. I'm just curious to hear more about how the astronauts are feeling ahead of what's probably the riskiest part of the mission. Are they asking questions, technical questions, or anything else? And Jeff, I want to just hear a little bit more about the oxidizer issue. If you could describe the leak rate or what risk level this poses to the crew, if any, and how many valves are implicated in it. Thanks.
Yeah, I think I'll let Jeff or Braniel kind of talk about the crew spirits. I know they've been on the radio and they're pretty chipper. So, but if you could tell them.
Well, I think when we talk about the managing the emotions on orbit and managing that through every day of flight, they're all a little bit different, right? And when you talk to the crew, some days we get to the conference at the end of the day, and we're talking technical items, we're talking technical things, we're talking about what happens tomorrow. And some days it's there's very little to talk about in terms of technical items, but it's hey, here's how we're feeling, here's how we're doing. They were very happy to get some time off after the lunar flyby. Lunar flyby was a long day. I'm sure you all heard them on the radios constantly that day. It was a long taxing day for them, and they were happy to get a little bit rest the following day. So every day of the mission, especially with the mission this short, and it's so packed full of all of the operations that we're doing, it's its own kind of thing to manage. And now as they get into entry, we're talking through. They've got conferences today with the entry flight control team. and we're ensuring that we're getting them ready in a good emotional state so that they can execute, right? They're very technically savvy. Just as Amit said, we built this plan with them. There's nothing new that they're learning, but we're all reviewing together, make sure we're well positioned to fly entry tomorrow. And I'll take the technical topic and hand that over to Danielle.
Thanks, Jeff. Regarding the propulsion system, so there's multiple valves in each string of the propulsion system and multiple strings providing that redundancy. So we worked a test plan to safely characterize what we're seeing and validate the data that we're getting down. And the team's going to go off and look at that and determine based on what they're seeing, the thermal effects associated with the attitudes that we're flying in, and be able to come back with us post-mission with an investigation update.
Let me just make this clear. So we're leaking helium into the pressurant system, into the aux system. There's a series of solenoid valves that are protecting that. We actually accepted this risk pre-flight because we had a low leak rate of helium on the valve closest to the prop system. We accepted it because we didn't need the performance for the pressure system. As Jeff said, we can do a lot of the burns just with all this pressure in the tank, and for a free return trajectory, don't need it. We could have done the whole mission without at least after TLI, could have done the whole mission without helium pressurant. However, we are not getting the valves back. We know it. We have leaky valves to begin with, and we want to make sure we're characterizing that leak rate as well as we can. The leak rate we saw in flight is now an order of magnitude higher than what we saw on the ground. It's still acceptable, but that will lead us to probably an extensive redesign of that valve system. I don't need those valves to hold pressure in the same way for a LEO orbiting mission, but for a lunar orbit mission, I do. I need all the performance of the system so I can pressurize, which is why we prioritize that side of the valves.
We'll take our next question right here.
Hi, Josh Dinner, Space.com. I'd like to follow up on Joey's question a little bit about how the crew is feeling. Most astronaut missions to space these days are quite longer than 10 days. Do you get the impression that there is any sort of bittersweet feeling about how soon their mission is coming to a close, even though they are hyper-focused on their task ahead? Another question, can you clarify why San Francisco, the coast of San Francisco, was chosen over other landing locations like the Gulf or the Atlantic?
It's San Diego.